A lot of things going on Sunday. How do
A
you,
lot of things. There's one thing going on
how
Sunday
do you,
to me.
well, how do you prevent senior day from becoming a distraction?
It's always a distraction, but I think usually when the ball gets tipped up, everything normalizes. I think that there's always emotion. It's you see some teams do it, they celebrate afterwards, but that makes it a unique challenge to do that on a day where someone's going to win a championship. So, I think they deserve to be honored, and at the same time, we're not done. So, I think this day is bigger when this could potentially be their seniors' last game, but this isn't our last game, and so I think we've put ourselves in position. I mean, I didn't know this to be true. I think Rachel Galligan had tweeted out that it's the first time in the history of the league that it's come down to winner takes all on the last day. So you're welcome, Big 12. Great job, TCU. I think this sets up to be a really big game for our league, for both teams, national TV, and just should be a cool environment. So, I think we got to keep the main thing, and that's preparing for TCU and knowing that they stand in the way of goal of ours, and certainly it's a goal of theirs, so we know that.
You haven't lost since the last time you saw TCU. How have they changed? How have you changed as you meet again?
Yeah, I think, obviously they've played well all season. They had good wins early against Notre Dame and NC State. I think they've played all season like a veteran group. I think Haley Van Lith has been shooting the heck out of the basketball in February. Certainly she was scoring the basket well all season long, but I think her confidence has continued to grow in league play. She's making shots behind the screen, things that people have chosen at times to give to her. She's made them pay. She made Iowa State pay for going underneath screens, and certainly she did with us some as well. So I think they've a little bit changed their starting lineup with Donovan Hunter, but you're still going to see Big B. You're going to see kind of that same core group of players for them. I just think they're a really confident group, really veteran group, and they've played really well.
Your teams here in 4 years have tended to be playing better basketball in February than they were in January and kind of building towards March in some big ways. How has this year's team been able to do that? And what are some of the little, maybe even behind-the-scenes things where they've been able to kind of think and grow along with what you as a staff want them to do? Yeah, I think, some of our growth, came with Nettie. I think that was a big piece of, I think every year is different. Why are you better at the end of the season than the beginning of the season? Obviously, our first year we had elite players, but they'd never played for me. It took them a while to understand our terminology, to understand the reads. So they got better not because their skill got better. They got better because they understood what we were doing, and they were really elite athletes and basketball players. But I think this team has learned to really embrace our balance, to have a next man up mentality, which hasn't always been easy. It's not easy. It's not easy to lose pieces that you were counting on. But I think, we've got kids with big hearts that have wanted opportunity and have grasped that opportunity. But I think this team in particular is, Nettie's learned how to play in our system better. I think she's playing her best basketball of the season. And I'm not surprised that that's helped us be better, because she was always a threat. But I think when we mix that consistent threat of playing to the low block, playing off of her, she got us going against Kansas State, and then, other people carried us in the second and a little bit in the third, and then all of a sudden she had another big stretch. So, kind of feeling out and letting the moment dictate what we're going to and what the defense is giving us. They started that game in man. They went to zone. We had to find a different way to get Nettie the ball as the game went along at Kansas State.
this senior class that's going to be honored. You got 6 players. You got one who predated you here at Baylor. You've got one who joined the team in December. What are there threads that kind of just tie them as a group together in your mind, in addition to how special they are individually?
I think that's just like the perfect definition of where we're at in college sports right now. The transfer portal has made this teams, groups of meandering players finding the right place for them to finish, a lot of times. But, it's hard to go one by one with a group that big and that's meant so much to us. It's not like I'm going to sit here and say this group rewrote record books or whatever, but I think I still feel so good about a group of players who chose me. And I think, when you think about the senior class in different ways, each of them chose me, each of them chose us. And that's what's special. I think there was a time when, Coach Mulkey had built the Baylor brand to the point where they came to play for Kim, and she was the brand, and winning was the brand. But we've had to kind of build the brand to look how I want it to look and to function how I want it to function. And, so for Sarah to stay, for each one of these players to choose in different ways that for Baylor to be home was really special. For Jada, it was about wanting to be a point guard and learning to play the point because she didn't for her first 2 years. And, she's had growing pains with that, but no one's worked harder to be good at it than Jada has, was this how Aaliyah saw her last year of college playing out? No, but I think if you ask her, do I want to play on a championship team as I go out of my college career, I think she would have said yes. So, she may not have planned her career this way, just like Madison didn't plan her career to end with nothing but injuries. I actually feel bad that our fans really didn't get to see the Madison Bartley, the Belmont Madison Bartley. I mean, when we got Madison in the portal, we didn't get her to just be a role player. Like, she was really successful, as our numbers indicate. I don't know how many people, when she committed to us, were like, wow, that's a great get. That's kind of like a, because you see the big names, the kids that were McDonald's All-Americans move, and but, kind of her value in that space, and so, like, each of these players is, like, really different in terms of why they chose Baylor, but ultimately they've all been a big part of our success.
Coach in the back here, when you think about how much, I guess, have you thought about the last time you guys played TCU when preparing for this game?
Oh, it's the first thing you do as a coach. Like, you certainly, when a game is over, you watch it, you bookmark it. What did we do well? What didn't we do well? I always say film, one, doesn't lie. It's never as good as you think it is or as bad as you think it is when it's going on. But you watch it then, but then the minute you turn the page from Kansas State, the first game you watch is that game. What did we do well? Let's circle back. Like, what did they give us? What was their game plan? What are we going to have to take advantage of? How different are we without Bugs? How does that change their matchups? So then you still get into a little bit of a guessing game because of, I'm not sure that had we had Bugs, Iowa State guards us the way they guarded us. So, everything changes a little bit with one player. And so that's been a big part. I've watched it twice just to keep gathering my thoughts. But certainly I've watched their games since we played them as well. Like, what are they running? What are their volume plays? What's working the best? How do you move Sedona? How do you get her from blocking everybody's shot? Just kind of like, what did other teams do well against them? And that's what coaches do. I mean, Mark's doing the same thing for sure.
And Sarah said she's ready to see that confetti fall on Sunday. She's confident that it's going to happen. Can you just talk about the confidence of this team and where you guys are at right now?
Yeah, they should be confident. At the same time, like, it's humility and being humble and saying, like, we got here because we just took one game at a time.
like I think I said after Kansas State, we've had 2 losses for quite a while. So, we had to grind through, a really tough stretch to put ourselves in this position. And we haven't led from the front all season long. And so, I think we still have to have the underdog mentality. I don't care what the line is. I don't care. TCU beat us the last time. They're ranked in the top 10 in the country. We've done better with a chip on our shoulder. And, I think we have to continue to play like we're a team that's down a starter and down a key reserve. And, we've lost key players that we thought would be part of a championship run. But it's opened up opportunity for Aaliyah and Wise. And you see the growth of Bella, with Bugs out. And so, I think we just have to have that mentality, confetti, non-confetti. It comes down to, like, do we prepare to win? Do we follow the game plan? Do we make open shots? Do we take away open shots for them? If they shoot the ball as well as they did in Fort Worth, there won't be any confetti for us. So, I think I'm just a big believer in, like, that game is about 1 minute at a time, and hopefully, we have a reason for it to come down. But I'm not there yet. I'm not, and I can't be there. Like, I can't. At the same time, I'm super proud of how we got here and the position we've put ourselves in to make this push. And so certainly want to close it out the right way here. And hopefully, both of these teams, TCU and Baylor, are hosting that first weekend of the NCAAs. But I think, right now they have a better shot because of those wins against us, because of those wins against NC State, against Notre Dame. Their resume is better than ours right now to host. And so we got to continue to, like, clip along to put ourselves in that position to really make the committee decide, like, that's where we belong.
Anyone else? Nicki, it seems like your team's been pretty loose through this whole stretch. Do you sense that that's the same this week going into this game, or any tightness? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the nature of our 3 games in 6 days, we had to take 2 days off this week. So I think our girls have been really happy to get a little rest, honestly, this week. I think diving in today and tomorrow, really to game plan, I'll have a better feel for that. But I think this is a team that thrives when they're playing confidently, comfortably. That I think having a big crowd will go a long ways to take some of that pressure off. Like I don't think that ramps pressure up. I think it takes it off. Like you've got all those people that are in your corner lifting you when you need it. And so, I hope that's, the push that they get is from a really elite atmosphere here at Foster.
What do you feel like has been the key to, y'all have won without Bugs. Bella goes down 2 minutes into the second half. You win without her. What's been the key, and how's Bella doing from that?
Yeah, I'll have a better take on Bella. She did not practice Wednesday, so I'll have a better gauge today in practice where she is at. What's the key? I think, I don't think anyone comes to Baylor and wants to sit on the bench. I don't think you choose Baylor to cheer on your teammates. It's certainly, there are roles for every person in a program, and they're all valuable. But I think the key in this stretch is, I think when Bugs went down, it shifted Bella to a position she's really comfortable in. And I think it's easier to get her shots at that position than it is sometimes at the small forward. So I think there's some natural, you think about the players that have played successfully that position for us, and it's Bugs, and she's our leading scorer, and it's Nalissa Smith, and she was our leading scorer. Now, I know Nalissa could have led us in scoring from probably anywhere, but, ultimately it's a position that we play to and through a lot. And so you have more opportunity to thrive and get more touches in that position than any position besides the point. That's a decision maker on every possession for us. I think Bella goes down. That's why I said after the game I was so proud of that group. Now, on the flip side, how they guarded us, putting 4 small guards on the floor,
we were able to take advantage of our quickness and get pieces of the paint and knock it down. And so, in some ways, like there's advantage there. Now, we didn't have a matchup for Sundell. And so that was tough, but I think we were making threes, they were making twos. Sundell still shot 50%. When I look back at what Sundell did to TCU, she scored basically every basket in the fourth, or assisted on every basket in the fourth quarter in a close game against TCU. So, looking at that and then looking at our game, I'm like, okay, we did okay on Sundell, because, we were really small. But I think it allowed us some advantages. And so I think you can look at every loss as a gain if you have the people that are capable of doing something really well for you. I can't put Aaliyah or Wiseman and think they're going to be Bella, just like Bella's not Bugs, but they can do certain things really, really well. And I just have to be prepared to put them in position to be successful and for us to be successful in how we play. And, we talked about adding a new offense a week ago. Well, that's all we ran. Once we went small, now some of it was against zone, some of it was against man, but ultimately all we did was spread you out, 4 out, and ball screen and play. And our guards were all interchangeable. So we had advantages, just like we had a disadvantage at the defensive end.
Last I heard, there were over 1,000 student tickets out already. How much of a boost can that be to have that energy?
Yeah, it's, I remember, I think it was our Texas game in Farrell Center was our biggest student crowd our first year here. And just the impact they made over there, it's, they put the pressure on the opponent. They're the ones that aren't afraid to say a lot of fun things, and hopefully PG, of course. But I think where they sit, their relation to the opposition, I think they can really impact the game. And so I think the rest of the arena tends to play off the students as well. I mean, they certainly do at the men's games, and so. Getting them excited about this opportunity is really awesome, and really it's what this team deserves. And I'm excited that Sing's over. I'll be at Sing tonight, but I think that helps too, because I know until I was there last week for the first time, I don't think I realized what a big deal Sing is, and then I saw 800 Kappas out there on the stage at once and didn't know how. That many people could be on the stage. So, I think it should be a really cool environment.
Sarah, you got a lot going on Sunday. Big 12 championship matchup, senior day. You've seen a few of these. Will this be, well, actually, you were kind of part of one last time, but what will this be like for you, knowing that it is the last time?
Well, it'll be my final senior day. We don't have another year left, so I think at the beginning it'll be bittersweet because gonna hate leaving and maybe the last one in Foster. But I think when we have the confetti dropping down on our head, then it'll all come together, and you might see some tears on senior night though. You never know.
Maybe this is an obvious question, Sarah, but could you have scripted like a better setup for senior day?
Nah, it was God's plan. We were kind of the underdog all season, so I think we really don't have a huge. It's nothing huge for us in this game. I think TCU should be a little more nervous than us because it's a lot of pressure on them. Honestly, they're ranked higher than us, and we're the underdog going into this game.
How has this team embraced the fact that it seems like you kind of have flown under the radar a lot this year, and yet you've overcome some things to play your best basketball at the end of the year?
I think we like it. We become the people that are now hunting other people. I think, so many times when you play people and they play Baylor, people play some of their best basketball. They start making every shot that they take. So I think just being the underdogs for us, it works in our favor.
For both of you, how much confidence are you playing with right now? 9 straight wins, this game for the championship?
I think we're playing with a lot of confidence. We're very prepared, and this is what we want, so we're chasing it.
Yeah, I think everybody, you've seen people go down, and I think that it shows the development of this program of how whoever has to step up is ready to step up in that role, and everybody's just taking every game with confidence.
Yaya, Sarah mentioned stepping up, and you've had to do that in some different ways this year. When Jana went down, it meant a bigger role for you. Now, as the team's been without Bugs for a few games, you've even had to play the four. How have you just kind of been able to adapt and play some really good basketball, even when things might change the expectations of you?
Just knowing this is my last year, so just putting everything on the floor, and just doing everything that my teammates need me to do and my coaches.
Sarah, you said we might see some confetti coming down. What gives you the confidence that you think you'll see it fall on Sunday?
I think people might not believe me, but it's actually crazy. I don't know if y'all have Snapchat, but I got a memory from my sophomore year or freshman year that popped up when we won the Big 12. So it's kind of like coming back in a full circle that it's about time for us to have that happen again, which is kind of crazy to me to see that pop up.
If you could just take a minute to think about what that moment would be like, what do you think it's going to feel like?
I mean, it's going to put the cherry on top because I think looking at the rankings at the beginning of the season, I don't think anybody had us expected to win. So this game being on senior night, and like I said, just coming in a full circle moment to kind of be the first team to do it in Foster actually will be great. And I think, that would be the best way to end it on senior night because you'll never see this team play together again.
And last time you guys played TCU, defensively, you're going to have to be really strong against them when you play them at home. Has that been a big conversation for you guys, or what are you doing to prepare to shut down their hot shooters?
I think you've seen it in the Kansas State game. Kansas State has really good shooters. Iowa State has really great shooters, too. And I think, we've stepped our defense up, and we've shown in both of those games that we can defend the three. We shut the post down. So I think, it's all just coming together at the right time.
Yeah, you've been able to get it done from downtown. You drive to the basket and make things happen. You attack the paint. So I'm curious, what makes your eyes light up more, getting the ball when you're wide open behind the arc or seeing a path to the basket that you can take and attack?
Honestly, I think wide open at the arc. My shot has just been falling recently. So just seeing the ball go through the net is awesome.